intelligence. Now, the guys, the researchers, have gone to the records, and there ain't no listing of vessels with those names in the entire U.S. Navy manifest. So the question arises, my God, where is LeMay, the Curtis LeMay? Where is the Hillenkotter? And the inference we're getting is that apparently they're in orbit somewhere out there. And now we're talking about one of the biggest secrets of all time, where your missing trillions have probably been going. There is a separate space program which you guys are paying for. And they're not telling you anything about it. And as a result, NASA is a bit of a joke. We have a special space program, and it is apparently known as the United States Aerospace Command. And it is a joint service agency. That means it includes Navy, Army, Air Force, Marine Corps, and it also includes the British Aerospace Command. They launch satellites from several different positions on the planet. They maintain, apparently, an entire fleet of vessels in orbit. And they have anti-gravity and zero-point energy, which you guys have a right to and you ain't gonna see for another 10 years. Now that's where your missing trillions are gone. You know the story. 98, 99, and 2000, 1.7 a year for 3 years disappeared off the books. That bunch of clowns in Congress, you think there was an uproar? You think there was a demand for answers? Where did that money go? Forget it. Now, the day before 9/11, the Secretary of Defense says, we're missing $3 trillion. We can't account for it. It's off the books somehow. We're working on it. Maybe an accounting error. You know how they are. The doublespeak. George Orwell would be happy with this crowd. Missing $3 trillion after the already missing of 1.7 a year for 3 years? There's where the funding is coming from your Aerospace Command that Daniel Inouye is talking about. A separate shadow government that you have no idea exists. And those guys have got the technology that Ben Rich says is 100 years beyond establishment knowledge. And really, if you talk about being pissed off, that kind of information drives me up the wall. And I say to you guys, and I hope you're as pissed off about it as I am, we damn well got to get some answers from these idiots back there, or our country is gone forever. And I don't want to see that happen. When I went into the military, I signed an oath to die for that Constitution if I had to. And I believe in that Constitution. It was a work of genius. The best form of government's ever been devised. And they're trashing it. And we're not standing up and defending it enough. We're not insisting that they account for being in office and drawing those big salaries. Okay, guys, I've covered a whole lot of stuff here. As I said, I tend to wander. I guess it's the name of the game. I'm coming to the end of my presentation here. As I said, I've been speaking out rather bluntly and loudly for a number of years on this subject. As I said, it's the biggest story in human history, because it is the story of human history. It's your story. It's who you are, how you got to be here, and where you're going. And I've told you that I'm outraged at the doomsayers. Oh, God, in 2012, we're doomed. It's all over. They're asteroids, whatever. Pole shift. We're all doomed. That Mayan shaman in Germany years ago told me, he said, "You white-skins, you do it every time. You screw it all up." He says, "That's not what the hell the story is." He says, "I'm an expert on my calendar. I'm an expert on the history of my people. And that's not the end of the damn world. It's the beginning of a new age." He says, "We look forward to it with anticipation and excitement. The old world is coming to a close and a new way of thinking is coming. And it's going to be so unlike anything that's ever existed before." He says, "We are so excited about the future." 2012, that day will come and go. It'll be the end of our long count, but so what? What's important is there a new age coming. And you guys are all a part of it. And I say in closing that there are going to be some difficult times ahead, because we are literally in this transformation, this transition that is a transformative transformation, not only of the planet but of the human species. And it's primarily spiritual in its nature. And that is a very hopeful thing to discuss and understand and accept. As I said, we're phasing out of a phase of adolescence. We are going through adolescence and we're going to reach adulthood. And if you all remember, I'm sure you do, adolescence was not a hell of a lot of fun. I found it painful as hell when I was going through it, and so did my mother and father while I was going through it. But we're making that transition. And it's hopeful and favorable, and I want to leave you with a remark or two that I think is important. I'm a great fan of Leo Tolstoy, one of my favorite authors. He was a mystic, tremendous, great writer, philosopher. And Count Leo Tolstoy said, and I quote, "There is something in the human spirit that will survive and will prevail. There is a tiny and brilliant light burning in the heart of man that will not go out no matter how dark the world becomes." And I want to leave you tonight with that comment about that spark of divinity that burns brightly within each and every one of you. God bless you, and good night. I'm finished.